Well, welcome to another episode of Rimshots with Sean. I'm wearing my glasses, and I am here with a gentleman who I've just met, but I feel like I've known him for a while, Mr. Anders Rönnblom, all the way from what part of Sweden are you in?
Northern Sweden.
Northern Sweden. So you guys are, I guess,
Northern Sweden.
It's you're going through your winter months over there.
Oh, yeah, big time, big time. It's right now. I have 70 centimeters of snow.
Oh wow! So we haven't had that much, but we're darn near close. So I happened upon Anders' project. A friend of mine, Sean Duncan, that plays in a band called LA Guns, did a post, and I saw somebody. It was a gentleman somewhere review the album, and I listened to one or two cuts, and I'm like, why haven't I not heard of this before? So why don't you tell us about Social Disorder, because it's certainly a project, but it's not. It's just the second album that you've done with this group.
Yeah, I started to write songs after we had been out with Killer Bee 2017, and I had some ideas of what I want to do. Since I grew up with Michael Schenker, Rainbow, Whitesnake, early Triumph, for instance, and all this melodic stuff. I decided actually to just write the lyrics myself and start to tell a story about my way through from to go into rehab 14 years ago, and all the songs were like all the songs are about that process I went through before and during. And after I'd done a couple of songs, I just decided to give it a shot. I was thinking of using a lot of different contacts, musicians to play, because I just want to do it by myself, like a solo project. But first I reached out to Tracy Guns, since we toured together in 2015 when we were Killer Bee and Gunso and Bullet Boys in the States. And he said, yeah, I can try it out. And then I reached out to Sean, and he said, I laid down the drums. I started building bass on that, and I had a couple ideas of singers, but Leif Elin, who plays in Perfect Plan, an old friend of mine, he said that, why don't you check out Thomas Nordin? I said, who is that? Yeah, he lives here in town. I said, never heard about the guy. And well, I got in touch with him, and I sent him off a track, the song Dreaming. And Leif said he's like an early Joe Lynn Turner at his best. And I was like, oh, okay, let's try it. And I got it back, and I was totally blown away. And Tracy started to do more guitar tracks. And I just added Sean's brother, Jeff Duncan, plays guitar on the song Dreaming. And I have Snowy Show from Merciful Fate play drums on the song Love to Be Hated, for instance. But then I realized I tried to keep it with the same people as many songs as possible, to get like more of a unit thing to it. But Thomas sings on all of the tracks. He was actually just supposed to sing on the 3 of them, but he really liked it. So he said, okay, I give it a shot. I said, well, each time I approach it for a new song. And boom, then we had the 10 songs done. And as soon as that album was written, during this recording process, I had started to write new material. And this was released in June 21. And in September 21, we started to record the second album. So everything was just looping. And so Tracy plays all the guitars on the second album, and Rudy plays most of the bass guitars. I do it on some songs. And Sean is playing the drums on all of the songs. And Leif and Dave Stone from Rainbow shares the keyboard parts. So it's just been rolling.
Well, so I want to back up just quickly, because you mentioned Triumph. So I'm Canadian. I grew up on Triumph. Rick Emmett's actually a friend of mine. I've had him on the show a number of times. And anytime that somebody mentions that band, to me, it's a big deal, because, and I'm sorry I'm freezing up here, but it's a big deal because we always think that nobody knows Triumph anywhere else in the world, right? We think they're Canadian, born and bred. Yeah. But we always hear, the States. There's a pocket of places in the States that love them. Europe. Rick was actually in Sweden for New Year's Eve. He did a show on New Year's Eve over in Sweden. So, what part of that music because you mentioned them, what part of that music would you have I guess, gleaned? You mentioned early Triumph. So how early are we talking?
Magic Power. Magic
Oh,
Power is one of my top favorite songs. That really hooked me, and I started listening to them. And then you came into the Never Surrender album, and then I really like that Killing Time, 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 Time. I think that is so, it's genius. I really like that song, Follow My Heart. Yeah, they done a couple of really, really good tunes. But yes, Magic Power was the song that really hooked me.
that album, Allied Forces, is probably one of my favorite albums of
Yeah,
all time.
Allied Forces. Yeah, it's really, really good.
So, I mean, you have a lot of firepower on your two albums, and I guess the question I'll ask you is that because these are a bunch of people that you wanted to record with? Is it that maybe it will draw more attention to the project? Is it because it's friends? What was your, I guess, your idea behind that?
Friends. That was the first thing. But like I said, I was planning to use different singers, different guitar players on each song, but then I realized that would be a huge time frame to deal with. And when Tracy really liked it and it really worked out, clicked right away. And so that for me, it was like a no brainer. And when we came into the second one, it's like, why start to juggle around when we have this? I have the singer, me and Thomas are really, we really work perfect together. He really catches the melodies I want on the songs, and he gets the whole thing. And so therefore, so initially it was meant to be a lot of different musicians, a lot of different drummers, singers, bass players, and that. But I realized that would be just a time killer,
Sure, and I
waste
mean,
of time.
the way you got to record something like that is you have to use technology because you have to share files and they have to go to a studio and where they are like you guys aren't all in one studio. Trying to explain a little bit, but maybe explain the process so that my viewers can understand how this all came together.
Okay, I used to click in my ear in my headphones, and then I just record the guitar to my iPhone. Then I
Okay.
take that file and put that into the laptop, and I play that guitar part through the speakers, and I have the bass guitar, and I play that on top of it. So I get the bass and the guitar to a click. I only hear the click, but then I have a friend in Stockholm who helped me put a drum machine to that, and when I have that, I send it to Sean, and Sean takes away the drums, but he gets the whole idea, and then he adds the fills and whatever he feels is appropriate for the songs. Then he sends that back, and then we take that and I send it to Tracy, and he does the guitars, and that comes back. We put that together. It goes over to Rudy. Rudy records it in Los Angeles. He sends back those files. We put that together. Same thing. Goes to Dave Stone, or it goes to Leif, and they do the same thing. So it's just a puzzle work that we put together. And in the end, Thomas gets the song, and Thomas does all the background vocals and lead vocals himself.
So this project, I guess, when you're doing the current project, because I do recording with people and for people, and I do it the same way. Like sometimes I never meet the people that I'm working with, and people can't wrap their heads around it. But it's actually it's a very effective way of working. But how long would this project have taken you from start to finish, from conceptualization to mixing, mastering, and in the hands of your record company?
It was actually, everything was recorded and done by June 2022, but due to different factors, it took over a year to get it mixed. But let's say the first album, it should approximately a year. It would have been done, year and a half.
Okay.
And I think now, I don't know how things will be. I mean, now LA Gus is touring a lot. Quite Right is touring a lot. They have to, if they're going to do something, I haven't talked to them yet about it. But if let's say if we're going to do third album, they have to squeeze it in when they have time to do things, or if they have time to do things. So it's that's basically where I stand at the moment. but a year and a half is what it takes.
Well, the reason why I asked is because I've worked with people in my hometown. Oh, you have to all be together. It's just the way that technology is now. You can do world class recording, like you said, starting off on your iPhone, right? And people need to understand that, right?
Yeah, it's like no big deal.
Right.
But here's the thing: when you have the chemistry, like I have with Sean, for instance, that's going to do the drums to what he gets. I mean, he's getting like a straight beat, but I mean, he can feel he maybe want to do a shuffle in some parts of the fills on that. When you have that chemistry, and he gets the songs and the rough vocal ideas from me or whatever he gets, he feels the song and he grasps it and put it together. And as soon as you have that foundation, things will just go very smooth. Because I mean, what you hear, you understand as a bass player, this is not meant to play a waltz to or a tango.
Right.
You hear where the song is going, so it's basically a no-brainer. As soon as the drums are done, then it's a no-brainer where you want to do it.
And I mean, Sean's a powerful drummer too. He and a lot of
Very
studio
good.
experience, right? So I mean, I would think that the tracks that he sent you are just boom, we get that piece because not everybody, but people traditionally drums are the first thing that gets done, and then you send the drummer home and you stack them on there. So I'm not going to say super unorthodox, but I mean, Def Leppard when they did Pyromania, everything was done before the drums, which is there's different ways, I guess, to cut a fish, right? So, so what are your plans with this, Anders? Are you planning on, I mean, putting a band together and going out and touring this in any way? Is it a studio project? What are your plans towards that?
Like I'm going to say the same thing as I did when we did the first one. There would be a dream to go out and play,
right,
with this. How that will work out, I don't know. I haven't thought about it.
Yeah.
Because there's so many factors that have to fall into place to be able to do that. There's so much logistics and planning, and since I'm very old school, if we're gonna go out, there will be real background vocals. There's like no backing tracks or anything like that. No way, Jose and Thomas is he's like insane. He pitches everything on the note when he sings. He's allergic to autotune. All this, seriously allergic. He's really allergic to it. That's, if we're going to do it, it's going to be a big thing.
I'm glad you brought tracks up because that seems to be the topic of the day, right? Yeah. Anytime you're on Blabbermouth or any of these sites, what do you think about tracks? And I've got my own opinions, but I mean, obviously, for you to take this project out and play it the way you want to play it, there's going to be a lot of rehearsal involved. So, your dream would be to take that lineup that recorded it and go out and tour, but that's probably might be a little tough. So, would you put a band together with some people that are more local, or?
I never thought about it because there are actually some really big shoes to fill.
Yeah, absolutely, no question.
There are some really big shoes to fill, and no, I haven't thought about it, doing it that way. Yeah, even though it's like I'm writing the songs and I'm doing that part and that, and Thomas is doing the vocals. He's like the front man in the band, and usually that's the key. But still, it's since everybody puts so much of their attitude in playing into the songs, I feel there's so much of their energy that is probably really hard for someone else to fill those shoes, basically. So I don't know. I never thought about it that way, but I mean, like I said, if things would go well, and you never know what happens, but the dream is absolutely to do some shows, but then it would be like the real deal. 100% real deal.
So the project is Social Disorder. So just to recap, we've got yourself, we've got Rudy Sarzo, we've got Sean Duncan, we've got Jeff Duncan. Thomas's last name is
Nordin.
Okay, and then the two keyboard players are in the Rainbow Camp. So I mean, let's call it what it is. And I made a comment online, and it was a language thing. I think you thought I was making fun, and it wasn't at all. I was just like, my God, to get that much talent on a recorded project is
Yeah.
just. I mean, it says a lot about you. I mean, and we've just met, but I mean, for people to go, yeah, sure, I'll do it on. There's no question. It says a lot about you and what I guess they feel you bring to the party.
Yeah, it must be something.
Well, I mean, it's easy to say no when you're 4,000 kilometers away and ignore an email. But, like I say, when I was talking to Sean, he was just like, yeah, it was a lot of fun and he really enjoyed it. I don't know Tracy. I've never met Tracy, but everybody that I talk to says that he doesn't stick his name to something that's, going to be, low rent or cut rate. So, I mean, I'll say to my viewers, go on all the streaming platforms and find this project because it sounds great. Like what I heard is just lights out, man. I just love it.
No, thank you. Yeah, we're really happy with it, and you can, when you listen to the songs as well, you can hear definitely that where we're coming from, all of us.
Well, and
It's
again,
like this old traditional.
it is. You know what? I'm glad you brought that up because I mean, it's got a new vibe with kind of a you can feel the older school kind of vibe as well, and I really like that because I don't think there's enough of that coming out these days.
No, neither do I. I think there's hardly anything like that. Is because there's one thing to if you haven't grown up with it. My personal opinion, I think it's very hard for you to try to grasp it and play it.
No question.
Because I mean, I hear some bands that comes out today that sounds like 80s hard rock and that, but they like 22, 23 years old. It's a big difference if you're 53 and you play it. When you lived through that era and you played it since when it was really popular and that. So I think it's that's something that really determines where we stand with the songs and that, and how we approach the songs.
Well, and I mean, it's got and obviously you're from Europe, but it's got a European flair to it. And the first couple of tracks that I heard, I got some Deep Purple elements in there. I got some Rainbow elements in there. Certainly the vocals are melodic, like that whole era of late 70s, 80s was bands from Europe that like Iron Maiden and Def Leppard and stuff like that. But then when you start getting into things from your country, like Europe and people like that, where there's this melodic sense to the songwriting, I got that. So obviously that's what you were going for, and I picked up on it right away. So I can't wait to hear the rest of it. I just I was so impressed when Sean told me to check it out.
Oh, cool. Thank you very much. You haven't listened to the first album?
I have not, because you know what? I've only known Sean about 2 years. I interviewed him on my podcast a couple years ago. I met him through a friend of a friend. And when this came out, I said, how did you do that? And he goes, well, here's how we did the first. And I'm like, there's 2 albums? Are you kidding me? So I'm going to go and hunt it out and listen to it for sure.
Yeah, do that. Yeah, we got some really, really great reviews on that one too. So there are some reaction videos to it on YouTube.
Yes.
So it's really fun to see those ones as well. No, but I mean, that album got really good reviews and people, the comments were like, where has this singer been? Where did it come from? So,
well, yeah.
Everybody got major attention to that, put the major attention to it. So, yeah, and the melodies and that's basically what I grew up with, and that's what I also want to do. Put it this way: I want to do an album that that I would have purchased myself.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Last question, because I know you're a busy man and it's late over there, but what is it about your country and your part of the world that when musicians come out, they all tend to be, showstoppers, right? So there's a long history of people that have come from, Sweden and that area. But I mean, as recently as the 80s, obviously, there's a little guy named Yngwie Malmsteen that kind of took the world by storm. And what is it that makes you guys driven to the sense that I get is you feel like it's the best or nothing, but I could be wrong. Like what is the Swedish thing?
I don't know, the winter.
Yeah. Well, it's just
I don't
it's
know.
fun.
That's yeah. I think I usually many times actually I refer to ABBA.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of the way that the arrangements and melodies and that uh, totally something different. And after that, I mean, you had Roxette, you had Europe, you had Ingrid Malmsteen, you had there's like so many melodic bands and international acts that's coming out of Sweden. It's actually ridiculous, and it's like I don't know what it is, but it's I don't know, maybe something in the water. I can't. I had this question many times actually. So what is it about Sweden that just pumps out all this music and small countries that? So I don't know what it is.
Well, it can't be the weather because we have pretty much the same climate as you do, and we don't tend to. Yeah, we don't tend to have as many international acts, make it out there into the world. But I have this vision that and it's kind of a funny one, but it's obviously not accurate, but it's my vision. Where if you're in Sweden and you pick up an instrument and you're no good, you're immediately told to put it down and go do something else because everybody that comes out of there just seems so talented.
Yeah, but it actually, you're right about one thing there. But like in the 80s, especially, you had on these youth places where you went when you were kids. They all were very supportive that you could have rehearsal halls, and when you're living like in a small town like this, you everybody goes out and listen to each other, and you start to compete. And okay, they can do that. I can do it better. We can do it better. Let's try this. Let's try that. And just from this small town where we live, besides hockey, Peter Forsberg is from here, Marcus Näslund is from here, the Sedin twins are from here, Victor Hedman is from here, you just name it. In hockey players, Linus Ullmark, the goal in Boston Bruins. And the same thing with the music. I mean, we have Meshuggah, if you know about them, they're from this town.
Yep.
So, I mean, we have now the Social Disorder, we have Perfect Plan coming from here, we have in Sweden, international, like drummers playing with huge Swedish stars. So it's everybody's been very driven to listen to what everyone else is doing and picking up what they're doing and try to do it better.
I really get that. So my last question, my friend, where are my viewers going to find out about this wonderful project? I've been picking away at it, but where can my viewers stream it, find it, buy it, whatever?
Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon if you want to buy it. You can buy it there. So it's basically just Google it and you will find it. But on streaming platforms, I think iHeart has it as well. Deezer has it. But Spotify and Apple Music are the biggest ones. So, awesome. And you have both albums there.
Well, sir, it is nice to finally meet you. It took us a little bit, but very well done. And you're already, I guess, you said down the path to write for the third album. So, one last question: what do you have on the go outside of this for yourself? Because I know you've played in a ton of bands in the States and stuff. Do you have any plans to do anything besides this with anybody?
Is anything else besides Social Disorder?
Right.
Yeah, I'm working with in an AR band called X Romance as well. We're recording at this very moment a new album, and then what I did before was when we recorded a couple of albums. Not a couple, actually 6, 7, 8 albums with Killer B. The singer Brian Frank is actually from Toronto.
Oh,
he sang in Rapid Tears in the early 80s.
Okay, right on.
Oh yeah, but we haven't done anything since 2017. But at the moment, it's Social Disorder, and then it's X Romance that I'm working with.
Well, I look forward to keeping in touch with you and seeing what goes on. Because, like I say, when Sean posted that, I was just like, "Whoa, this just absolutely knocked my socks off." So, thank you very much for your time, my friend. Nice to finally meet you, and we'll catch up again soon.